It only took 25 years, then you won. So you earn it, you don't win it. So whatever you want in life, whatever your goals are, you're not going to win your goal. It's something you have to go earn. And it's a process of steps and gradients. How do you think of this?
The same way. I think setting those milestones and like picking up momentum towards whatever the that main goal is, but getting things done one step at a time. For me, it's easy to explain because I have rankings and I have submissions and different things in fighting. I can like list it easier for me because I have like number 5 guy, number 4, number 3. There's a ladder in place for me to see where I need to climb. I need to beat these guys. And I just use that, like we're saying, like if I beat number 5, try to take what I learned from that fight, put it into another training camp, go after number 4, 3, or 2, and I'm climbing a ladder up, and all those wins, all that confidence, all that time in the gym, being able to trust myself when things get ugly in a fight, it's like a snowball. It just gets bigger and bigger, the confidence, the momentum, until you get to that goal.
If you don't have $1 million yet, you're living a much lesser life than what could be easily available to you with the right guidance. My head coach has freed up a few spots in his calendar to hold one-on-one strategy calls with the highest quality applicants. If you're doing well already and you're looking to accelerate your momentum and do even better, click the link in the description now and apply for your strategy session. More at the end of this video.
Before I go into a fight, before I go into a training camp, some people might call it meditating, some people might call it just deep thinking. I understand that what I'm about to walk into, adversity is probably going to present itself, and I think that's like half the battle, knowing you're going to have to fight through something. A fight isn't a fight until there's something to overcome. Otherwise it's just a sporting event. A fight is going to be some adversity present itself, and you're going to have to go through it. So I think walking into, a cage to fight another man, I'm not walking in there thinking I'm not going to get touched. I would love for that to happen. But I'm thinking I'm going to get busted up and I'm going to be bloody and it's going to hurt every time. And I think in my mind I can take that more than you can. And that's what drives me through these fights a lot of times is I'm willing to hurt more and longer than you are. And I mentally prepare myself for that. So in the fight, when that 4th round comes and I'm bleeding and I'm hurting and I'm tired, I know he is too. And I know he's not willing to push as much as I'm going to push this next round. Just having that agreement with myself before I go in there and that bell rings, it makes a huge difference, because I've been in fights where I didn't mentally prepare myself, and found myself in bad positions and, won some of those and lost some of those. But understanding that I'm walking into fire before I go out there is a huge benefit for me that I found out in my career over the last few years.
I wish every investment I made in a business or every business decision I made was just beautiful and perfect, and, you didn't have days in the market where you get smacked around. And I'm down $350,000 today, and it doesn't change my mood when that happens. There's times I've been up $2.5 million in a day, and I'm not very cocky about that. And there's times I've been down maybe 1.7 in a day, and it doesn't really hurt my feelings when that happens either. It's just, that's life. It's part of the process. If you have an attitude where you're always planning for perfection, like nothing bad's going to happen, like it's not reality as I've experienced it. So, a comment that he made that I think of in slightly different words, but it's the exact same thought, is if you trust yourself to not be a quitter, that sure helps a lot. If you made that decision ahead of time that, I'm probably going to get smacked around and I'm going to have some rough moments in life, but I'm also not a quitter, that goes pretty far. It's easy to say nice words until you're in tough situations. It's easy to say little affirmations or cute little sayings and shit until you're in a bad situation. And most people, there's a big gap. People that haven't been tested, people who haven't put themselves in difficult situations, there's a tremendous gap between what they say and what would happen in real life. And that gap is not flattering to them. So most people, easy to say nice words when everything's safe, everything's good, the economy's stable. You don't even know yourself what you're going to do until you're in tough situations. So you can't even say that to yourself with any integrity until you've been in very difficult things that most people would give up. Most people would quit, and you decide like, no, that's not me. I'm not going to behave that way. And you have a sense of pride about that later. That it's not an arrogance or an extremely cocky pride, but an internal confidence that somebody can't take that away from you. It's easy for other people to say nice words, but if they've never been there, then they might not live up to those ideal expectations of themselves in many situations. Wouldn't you love it if your opponent was making like a 90% effort in their training camp?
I would love it. Yeah,
That'd be dope.
It'd be great.
I love when my competition takes a day off. I love it when they take time to play with their kids and pet their dog, call their mom and cry about whatever weak shit's on their mind. So I love holidays so my competition could take a day off. So fighting is not my profession. It's Dustin made a lot of money and built his reputation on that, and now he's branching that reputation into other opportunities to continue to make money in the future. But this is just a hobby for me in my retirement years. But on Valentine's Day, I was bleeding on my wrestling mats, back at my training center. On Thanksgiving, as Jake Shields was over, and we're sitting on Thanksgiving Day when other people are having dinner with their family. My mouth is all bloody inside because I made the mistake to leave my teeth open a little bit, not wearing a mouth guard, and he's choking the shit out of me, and I'm not letting him choke me, so I got his arm across my face, and then I get out of that successfully, and he got smacked in the face in the process, and so we're sitting there, my mouth's bleeding and his nose is bleeding, and we're having a normal conversation like other people would.
Yeah.
But you don't even think anything of it anymore until maybe a couple of days later you'd be like, that's not normal. Other people don't do this. That's my hobby. That's a hobby. That's not a profession for me. I'm old. I'm not going to be a UFC champion. I'm old. So it's just a hobby. And if it was something serious, I spent my whole life that way until recently in business that I want to work every day. I wanted to be sleep deprived and work all day and take a nap and dream about my goals and what I'm going to do. Not in a fantasy way. It's just like when I wake up, what's the most important shit I got to do? All right, let's take a nap and then go do that. And this idea about focus is like if you're not really focused on your good, you don't even want that shit. You're not even a serious competitor, and you don't even really want that shit. So I don't think it should be if you're serious that you want a certain outcome. I don't need a cheerleader. I don't need anybody to hype me up about it. I was lifting weights with Flex Lewis last week. Flex Lewis won Mr. Olympia 7 times, so yeah. He was staying with me. And
I used to train with his brother.
Oh yeah,
Luke.
Oh yeah, his brother is a weight training coach down at ATT. Oh yeah,
he was. I think he's back in the UK now.
Gotcha. I never met the brother, but Flex has told me that. Yes. Anyway, Flex is like we're like, I don't know, 400 reps in, and just back to back to back, these crazy sets, and we're like, we're about 400 reps in, and maybe I got to do 20 or 25 more. He's like, you can do it, and I didn't even take I just kept moving, but I'm like, of course I'm gonna do it, and I'm annoyed that he's saying to me like some cheerleader shit, because yes I'm fatigued, yes I'm tired, no I don't want to do it, but of course I'm gonna do it. And I didn't mean to say something snotty to him. He and I are extremely polite to each other, but in the training room, we're not. That's not his communication style in that environment, and it's not really my communication style in that environment. Now we're there being serious and doing shit, So neither one of us means that in a harsh way, but I'm sincerely a little annoyed at the idea. Why is he telling me you can do it? Does he think I'm not gonna do it? Of course I'm gonna do it. I'm my own cheerleader. What mature sounds like? It's like what? Maybe I wake up a couple days a month. I still wake up, and I got something that I'm going to do, and I wake up and be like, I don't feel like doing the thing, and then I remind myself, well, the success gods don't give a shit about my feelings, but the success gods are happy to reward people that engage in the right behaviors.
Yeah.
So I just go do that. But you might have a different take on this sort of thing.
No, when it comes to the strength and conditioning stuff, I'm the same way. When my strength and conditioning coach is cheering me on, I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like the feeling in the room with other people around, hearing him cheer me on and do that. I don't need that. I'm very self-motivated. And getting back to the question, like, how do I keep pushing forward? Is I just think about why I'm doing it. Why am I doing this? Why am I lifting these weights? Why am I getting beat up every day? Is it to be the best fighter? Is it to chase my dreams and do the things that I've set out to do since I was young? And a lot of it is, but sometimes that changes as you go, grow through life. Now I have a daughter. My why still is I want to be the best fighter I can be, but now I have mouth to feed, and I'm trying to set it up a certain way. So it's a lot easier to push myself when you're self-motivated. You don't need the cheerleaders. I have a reason, I have a why, and I know what that is. I think like identifying that, why are you doing this, is a huge, it's fuel. It's fuel every day when you're grinding, and you don't want to wake up and run those miles. You don't want to go get beat up today. I think about it, my daughter doesn't, she doesn't care. I have to do it. They're depending on me. That's the voice in my head. They're depending on me.
Yeah, I think about something like that on occasion too, and not from the children perspective, but I think about other people that did believe in me or people that looked out for me, and I don't want to disappoint myself. In moments where that thought's not as emotionally impactful as I'd like it to be, then I have to think about I don't want to disappoint my coaches. I don't want to disappoint even people that are dead, but they contributed to my life at one moment or another earlier in life. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to disappoint grandma. I don't want to disappoint my coaches. I'm not a religious person, but for a motivating effect, imagine grandma looking down from heaven thinking don't be a bitch, something like that. So, I'm not a religious person, but I sometimes have that thought, both because it makes me laugh and snaps me out of the somber moment, and also because I think it's funny and motivating in a different way. But so I was like, oh, can't let grandma see that I'm having a bitch moment. Keep working. So.
And all those years of the grind, all those years of waking up with no money in my pocket, getting paid shit money for these fights, all that wasn't done in vain. Now that I'm in a position to be a world champion, a number one contender fighter, one fight away from it, all those years of sacrifice wasn't done in vain. That's even though things are kosher, things are great now, I still work as if I'm that young kid with nothing in the bank, with nothing to fall back on, because all those years put me into this point. I can't discredit, dishonor. I honor what I do. I can't just throw that aside. It's more than that.
Great. Branching off of that made me think that there's times where you remember you were working hard earlier in life, and you wish it was your dream to have your current circumstance. It'd be a dream to have your current circumstance. Because sometime earlier in your life, you would have done about anything to have your current situation, and probably shouldn't disrespect that situation now that you earned that spot and you're in it.
I think Marvin Hagler said it's hard to wake up and run those miles when you're sleeping in silk pajamas. But the great ones do. That's the difference. The great ones still get up every morning and grind.
Maybe one more source of motivation, perhaps to you, would be if you're feeling fatigued and not wanting to do something. What's your competition feel like at that moment? And then that's another source of it might be a bit of a egoic pride, but I just say do whatever the hell works. Get the result is the most important thing. But if you take that moment and use a bit of egoism to nudge you forward. If I feel like shit and don't want to do this, I bet my competition's not loving it either.
Right.
Let me do a little more. Let me make sure I do more than they would.
And I try not to be a meathead sometimes and think like that, I'm going to make sure I outwork this guy, but there's a lot of things outside of your control, that you just can't, a lot of things that you can't control. But your work ethic, your dedication, your commitment to your craft, that's totally in your control, That's totally in your control.
You don't have the right to feel confident if you're incompetent. The only place that confidence comes from is from competence. Real confidence can only come from competence. You can be delusional and think you're a lot better than you are, but when you get yourself in a stressful situation, when you have to confront reality, it's not going to turn out good for you. It's going to be very humiliating and maybe very damaging to your life. It might end your life in the wrong circumstance. So to build your confidence, you have to, the only reasonable place that could possibly come from, let me omit that word, the only place that could come from is you have to be competent at something. And to be competent, you're going to pay your dues and set a little goal that's uncomfortable and hard for you right now, but also reasonably attainable if you stick to your commitment and do the things that you need to do. And that'll give you the courage, if you want to use that word, to set a somewhat bigger goal and repeat that process. And that'll give you the courage to set a somewhat bigger goal and repeat that process. And as you have a track record of, when I make commitments to myself, when I make a promise to myself that I'm going to do something, and you have a long track record that, when I've done that, I have in fact followed through and done the thing, you have every right to feel confident. And, I don't know if you want to use the word courage again, but I'll go with it for your language. Is like, then that gives you the courage to set bigger goals and bigger goals and bigger goals, because you're the type of person that follows through and gets things done. You earned the spot. You earned that spot. You don't win a championship belt. You earned a championship belt.
Yeah.
You didn't win it like a lotto, like a bingo game,
right?
Like a game of cards or bingo. So, I won. Yeah, it only took 25 years, It only took 20 years of hard work before that. Then you won. So you earn it, you don't win it. So whatever you want in life, whatever your goals are, you're not going to win your goal. It's something you have to go earn, and it's a process of steps and gradients. How do you think of this?
The same way. I think setting those milestones and like picking up momentum towards whatever that main goal is, but getting things done one step at a time. Like for me, it's easy to explain because I have rankings and I have submissions and different things in fighting. I can think of the right word. I can list it easier for me because I have like number 5 guy, number 4, number 3. So the ladder is there's a ladder in place for me to see where I need to climb. I need to beat these guys. And I just use that. Like we're saying, like if I beat number 5, try to take what I learned from that fight, put it into another training camp, go after number 4, 3, or 2, and I'm climbing the ladder up, and all those wins, all that confidence, all that time in the gym, all those being able to trust myself when things get ugly in a fight, it's like a snowball. It just gets bigger and bigger, the confidence, the momentum, until you get to that goal. But with fighting and setting goals and fighting, for me, it's all about like what makes me nervous, what makes me scared. You have to be careful when you say the word scared. I'm a fighter. I'm supposed to be tough and rough, but I'm scared, man. I'm scared of these guys when I'm asking for a big fight and I know it's something that's going to motivate me to make me want to wake up every morning and bust my ass and do more than him. Those are the kind of fights and goals that I want to set to where I feel uncomfortable, to where I need to be working. It's like I'm lost in like a tunnel vision for 8 or 10 weeks prepping for a fight. I'm lost in it. I lose myself in that training camp. And it's easy to do because I'm scared. Like I feel like I'm literally fighting for my life out there. It scares me. It makes me want to work. So like, the work's the easy part, You just got to set a goal that kind of scares you and makes you uncomfortable to try to get it. I think that's where my best has ever been, fighting these guys like Conor, even like the last one, Michael Chandler. He just knocked out Tony Ferguson with a knockout of the year, send him into the spirit realm with the front kick, and now I'm fighting this guy next. He's going to try to do that to me. That makes me want to work so hard, and it makes these goals like. It fuels itself when you set a goal like that. I'm just so hungry for that. And the thing with fighting too is no matter what you do, you can do everything right. And the MMA gods still whip your ass one night. You don't know what's gonna happen. But you gotta be on the dance floor. You gotta roll the dice, And that's what it is. I'm uncomfortable and I'm scared. And I go out there into the theater of the unknown, that bell rings, and I give it my all. But I know that the preparation, every day I woke up and pushed myself because I was nervous and I was scared of the outcome. I know what this guy's been wanting to do to me for 8 weeks. He's been dreaming about knocking me out in front of my family, in front of the world, making me look like a fool, taking money off of my family's plate. All those things just make me want to work so hard. And I think part of that is the like I said, using the word scared, just not knowing the outcome. But I'm trying to put myself in the best position to make that outcome on my side, Yeah. Goals that make you feel those butterflies in your stomach, that's the ones you got to chase.
You watch this video all the way through, and that tells me you're dedicated to learning more and earning far above average outcomes in your life. Congratulations for that. But now it's time to take action. If you could have earned those results by yourself, you would have done it already. My head coach has opened up a few spots on his high-demand calendar for an in-person, one-on-one strategy session to help you. On this call, we'll give you the pragmatic advice that you can implement tonight to get laser-focused on the right metrics and leave mediocrity far behind in your past. Click that link right now in the description below and apply for your call immediately. Do it now.